Day 1 Model Creation Image Plane Setup Part 3. Here we go. Alright, good. We're recording. Alright, now that we have these set up, let's go into the process of actually getting these correct. So I'm going to go ahead and select this face. I'm going to go up here to create UVs. I'm going to say create UVs based on camera. Now what this does, it uses the actual camera that you're using at that time, and the camera meaning side view, front view, perspective, top, or if you created a camera. What I'm going to do is say create UVs based on camera. I'm in the side view, which is what you want to do. You want to be locked in. I can't move around but from left to right, top to down, only in the side view. Create UVs based on camera. And then I'm going to bring up my UV texture editor, which is in Windows, UV texture editor. And in this case, I've done UVs based on camera. It's projected onto here, but it's still facing down, so I need to turn this. Yes, I can turn the geometry and I can get what I want. You could do that too, but I rather control it right here through my UVs. And what I'll do is I'll say right click, UV. I'll make a huge window around everything just to highlight it. The difference between UVs and vertices, UVs controls the texture coordinates of that particular object. So I can move this around without moving everything. If I select vertices, notice your manipulator doesn't come up here, it comes up out here in the viewport. I can actually move the vertices around, which gives me that. And then notice if you select UVs in here, your manipulator comes up here, not here. So they do that on purpose so you don't accidentally select your UVs out here and get confused. So now I'm just going to go ahead and flip this. I can use these tools up here that make this easier. I'm going to go say rotate for that way. We said that the car needs to be facing the other way. Very, very important. If I see your car that's not facing this way, and you will have a lot of problems, but I'll be able to help you to get it back to where it needs to be. Then I'm going to flip this. These tool sets right here help you flip this. And that's not the way I wanted it. Where'd it go? Oh, sorry, not these tool sets. This one. What this does is actually it snaps it. It takes everything and snaps it to the outermost. It was doing this. Sorry about that. Select all these UVs. This one right here flips it. And it may look a little bit different in your other, if you have 2012. Sometimes they changed it. This was changed from 2010 and 2009. Let's go back to side. Now this is locked in. I'm happy. I can keep this. There's nothing else I need to do with this but align the car up to the right axis. So because of that, I'm going to go ahead and lock out side view. It's done. Now the next view that you're going to work with is the top view. Top view needs to be coordinated. Let's go to top view. Let's go ahead and select that face. You can see I'm using my marking menus quite well. I'm going to go ahead and rotate this. Create UVs based on camera. There we go. I've just rotated that. And now we go into the Z-axis. I'm going to say 90. I've just rotated that. I often use my channel box to rotate things. If you understand 90 degrees in terms of turning, 90, 360, 180, 270, and so forth, 540, 720, then it's going to be either, if you're arbitrarily doing like this, your eye is not that good. It says 89.439, and so please do use your channel box. It makes things a lot easier. So I'm going to go in here, and then I'm going to go into the side view and actually drop this down here. I'm going into UV texture. What you want to do is that you want to move, if you're going to move in two different views, in which we will, you want to move one view in the UV editor and the other view with your geometry. If you try to move two views in the UV texture editor, you will never get this right because you'll be moving against yourself. So I'm just going to move this, and it should line up because we lined it up in Photoshop. Alright, I'm looking at my hotspots here. We talked about it. Your lights, your windows, not the door handles, that's an afterthought. Where this door lines up, take this to the back. And the back of the car here. This area, this area, this area. Not so much this area right here, because you know, if your car is a little bit longer than what it should be, then it's not going to make that big a difference. So I'm lining this up and look at the back. Cool. Because I did it in Photoshop, I saved myself some time. So now I'm going to flip it back into its top position. Very easy to do that. Just, excuse me, hit 0 and bring that back. I'm going to go to top, and I'm going to bring up the grid for this portion of it. Very, very important. We're all doing BMWs. You want to line your car up for the BMW to be right in the center of this. Right smack dab in the center of this. And if you need to move it some more, I'm going to hit W. I don't have my manipulator on screen, so I'm going to toggle the manipulator. I'm going to hold C to snap the curve. And then I'm just going to bring it right to the edge of that. We're going to talk about snapping tools some more after lunch, just because I know it can be an issue and somewhat to adapt to. Notice my car's not perfectly lined up in the middle. That's not a big issue. Okay, this is lined up. The top view is lined up with the side view. We're ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and lock this out. Guess what? I hate doing work 2 or 3 times. Same type of work. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. And let's work on the front view. Let's rotate this. When I look at this, I look like I'm upside down. Am I? Nope. Don't know why this is. There we go. Alright, so this object itself, when you're going to, you always reference the next view off the side view. Always reference the side view, because the side view is the anchor. So now I need to go ahead and rotate this 90 degrees, go into my side view, so that I know I'm not getting any distortion. And we're just going to scale this down in our UV texture editor. Select UVs, right click. I'm going to scale this up until we get about the size of that car. And then, let's go ahead and move this. Nice thing about having these little lines is that it helps you to line up the car. You again want to make sure you're lining the car up itself more with the car, not with the tires or the side view mirrors, because they're, again, an afterthought. And if you have trouble with trying to move this slowly, just get in close to your image and you can actually move this pretty slow. Okay, that's one view. So what I want to look at is lining up this side view mirror. Excuse me, the headlights. The headlights are off and the tires are off. So I'm just going to go ahead and scale this up a little bit. See if we lost some of that. Always use uniform scaling. That means move everything with the yellow. Don't do this or do this. You will get a distorted car and your car will not come out right. So always use uniform scaling. My lights are off a little bit, so I'm going to scale this up. It's looking pretty good. The front of this is looking pretty good. Let's line this windshield up. So the top of this windshield, the middle of this, where this meets, is right there. Let's go to the corner of this, right there. That looks good. So I'm only, because it's the front of the car and the back of the car could be wider, I'm only worried about the front of the car. So I'm going to go ahead and say, you know what, this looks good to me. I'm going to line it right back up in the middle, roughly. And then from here, I'm going to go ahead and flip this car around, say 0. I'm going to flip this back to 0, 0. Let's look at, we now have to line this up in the top view. We've already lined it up with the UV texture editor, so now I'm going to line this up, moving the geometry at this point. Now again, we very quickly, easy way to line this up, utilize the BMW symbol. Just move it over, get it right in the middle. Guess what? Right there in this area right here, the kidney grill on either side, they're lining up pretty nicely. I'm just going to go ahead and move this back. I want to make sure that the corners of these windows are lining up, and they do. Hot spots, hot spots, hot spots, hot spots. That's what you're looking for. If these are off, then the rest of your car is going to be off. So I'm happy with this. Let's go ahead and get this back to where it should be. Say 90. And then push this out to 12. And look at that. Test it out. Look at it in the front view. Turn that back layer off. Good. This image is lined up. We got one more view. I'm going to go ahead and lock out the front view. I'm going to go ahead and save it because I don't like doing this work more than once. I'm actually going to turn off the front view. Let's bring back the back view. And let's do this one more time. Rotate this in 90. Look at it in my side view. I'm going to move the geometry over. And I've already projected onto it. I'm going to right click, select UVs. Let's scale this up. And quickly let's line this up since I've already demonstrated with the front view. Now thankfully the BMW schematics and technical artists have done a great job of keeping this pretty much symmetrical and pretty much lined up. There's a lot of sites that I'll point you guys to, theblueprint.com, and a lot of stuff you'll see over online where it doesn't match up. It's horrible. So line this up. Again, I'm not going to use the antenna, but I'm using the hot spots. In this case, it's this area here that lines up, and the bottom of this here. This looks nice. These side view windows. That doesn't make sense. What's a side view window? The tail light lines up. So I'm happy with that. I'm just going to go ahead and go right in the middle of this. We're good. If you have really clean diagrams like I do here, then it's easier to do this. You can do it pretty quickly. Because I'll tell you right now, this is what gives students the most trouble in the beginning, trying to line this up. I'm only referencing half the car because this is only the back of the car. You can't see the front. Alright, so I've worked that out. Now I'm just going to go ahead and line this up. Again, you want to line this up right down the middle of this line with the BMW symbol here. Make sure that's pretty close. And then check your hot spots. In this case, the mirror, the trunk itself, not the mirror, the windshield, the trunk itself. That line and that line pretty much line up. That's good. I'm talking about this line right here. And then where the bottom meets on this. And let's go to the lights. The lights themselves lock. Wow, that's perfect. You can see that a nice little cross section going through here. Everything lines up. That's exactly what I want. So this is done. I'm going to go ahead and just put this back to where it needs to be. This is 90. This is -12. And let's look at our car side view. Excuse me. Everything's lined up now. I'm going to go ahead and lock this out. And we're good to go in this. Go ahead and Control S, save this. And now we are ready to go into the curves aspect of that. So I'll stop the video.